The Kids Castle in Doylestown Township is a project which brought together huge amounts of resources and community volunteers, all with one special goal in mind: to build a safe, fun place for kids to play.
So it's a true community effort from Fort Washington to New Hope and, you know, anywhere in between.
But the big thing is we got fellas from the air base came down. We got all kinds of professionals who dedicated their time. I think that's great. It's all community. Wonderful representation from the community.
What a great project. It's really dynamite to get out here and see everybody working together. And it's not just building a playground, it's building a community.
In June, a small army of volunteers began construction of Kids Castle, a playground and much more, to be located in Doylestown Township's Central Park. It would be constructed by parents in accordance with designs drawn up and dreamed up by kids.
Well, I guess you could say that the whole Kids Castle idea started at the end of the summer of 1996. And that was with Dawn and Jeff Byers. They had been doing what a lot of us had been doing, which is to take their kids over to Upper Gwynedd, which has a community-built playground. And it's about 40 minutes away, driving over there and deciding this would be something that would really be great for Doylestown and that a lot of people could use. So they started to look into it, and our Doylestown Township graciously donated 24,000 square feet of land in this big Central Park on Wells Road.
It's kind of funny how I got started. I thought, what kind of playground, what's it going to be like, and, you know, is my child going to like to play on it? So I took these questions to the township, and they pretty much looked at me and my husband and said, well, why don't you do it? Why don't you take over and build what you want to build, or find out what the community wants? And so we did. I think they kind of said it half jokingly, weren't sure whether we could really get it started. I think they had anticipated this being built about 5 years from now. And we said, well, let's go. Let's get a committee together. Let's see what we can do. And here we are 8 months later, building a playground.
Well, on Wednesday, things kicked off the build. It was an unofficial beginning to Kids Castle, and we had somewhere between 20 to 40 people out, and the plan was to stake out. They were here for a few hours in the afternoon. That was to stake out the area.
Well, pretty much we're at the second day right now, and what you're looking at here is an amazing progress from where we started yesterday, which was just pretty much stakes in the ground, bringing the boom augers in and drilling some holes. And here we are already, and you can start to see what this playground is going to look like. It's starting to take shape. Today we have some of the contractors in, some of the heavy hitters are coming in and really doing some of the more technical stuff, getting ready for this weekend, which will be our first weekend where we have the whole community come in, skilled, unskilled, grandmothers, children over the age of 10, and pretty much we're going to bang this thing out by the end of this weekend. We're going to have pretty much the structure of the playground, minus some of the details like the caps of the castles and some of the more finishing details. So, I mean, by the time we're finished this weekend with all these people, I think we're expecting somewhere around 2,400 people over the weekend, which is a lot of people. We're going to really get this thing done, and then the following week is going to be really fun, seeing the finishing details come into place.
It should be 34 and 3/8, so to speak, so we're an 8.
The architects who are spearheading this are Leathers and Associates from Ithaca, New York. Robert Leathers is a Harvard-trained architect who has some 25 years experience building playgrounds, community-built playgrounds, overseeing it. They've done over 1,200 playgrounds over the course of this time, and their firm is dedicated to doing these sorts of playgrounds. So they have the whole thing pretty well organized.
Now, when you're dealing with an army of volunteers, you know they're going to want good food and lots of it. That's where Nancy Swigum comes in. It was her job to feed from a few hundred to a couple of thousand volunteers each day.
About 50% of the food is coming from the restaurants, and like, you know, Domino's, Pizza Hut, Sorrento's we've got today. Then a lot of the restaurants have been bringing big salads, you know, like Russell's brought a salad, State Street Cafe. We've just been really blessed with a lot of things just come and we don't even know it's on its way. I mean, we had like 4 fruit salads come today that we weren't really anticipating, but they're here and we're going to eat them. And like the cookies, I mean, we just never know what's going to show up because, again, 50% comes from the households of Doylestown Township. On the weekends when we have basically double or triple this number of people, what we do is we have 4 serving lines. Basically, we try to keep everything the same, and we're able to serve about 500 people in less than a half hour.
Uno's brought some deep dish seafood. Ah, it's great. Phenomenal.
I was notified by Dawn Brown that they needed a children's coordinator, and since I'm a school teacher, I said, sure, I'd love to help. And so I coordinate all the children. We meet monthly and do activities to keep them excited about the playground. That's the children's coordinator part. And then keeping them in the design tent, working on tiles that we're building to put around the castle entry for the playground. Kind of similar to Mercer tiles.
The volunteer coordinators, there are 3 of us, and we divided things into 3 separate areas where we addressed businesses and groups, we addressed individuals, and then we had a person dealing with all the numbers and entering that and kind of starting our database. In a community like this, it's the individuals who have really responded as volunteers. We've gotten a lot of financial support from the businesses, and it's the individuals in the small groups who have really helped us. People check in. We ask them certain questions as far as the skill level is divided into, can they operate a circular saw in a safe, accurate way? Are they a carpenter by trade, or have they ever been a carpenter by trade? And are they here just to help? And we've needed all 3 of those levels. What we try to do is put 1 skilled person with 2 unskilled people. Because what we need is, whether it's sawing a board, nailing a board, you need someone to hold the board while somebody cuts it. You need someone to measure the board. So the unskilled people have been extremely valuable. And it's funny because that was a thing to overcome in talking to people, because you would call and say, would you like to help build Kids Castle? Oh, I can't build. We would say, no, you don't understand. We need unskilled people just as much as we need skilled people. So it's worked out. It's balanced real well. We just need more people.
This is Thursday. We want to complete our project by Sunday. So as we speak, Dawn Byers and Deb are off getting some more volunteers. I think they went around for some PR work to Kutz Elementary School. From what I hear, we're a little bit behind. We're hoping that it'll pick up over the weekend so that we can complete the build by Sunday. If not, things will be altered, depending on what all the committee coordinators decide. For example, we could take the size of the castle down a few levels if that's what we come up with. There might not be as much intricate artwork that you'll see right at the final end. And certain little things might end up being tied up, you know, at the last minute. We might need a few extra days, so we'll need more volunteers.
There should be 400 or 500 people eating lunch in this tent right now. I haven't counted them up, but if there's 100 here, I'd sort of be amazed. It's the numbers are what makes this thing happen. We need a lot more brawn. We need 500 people here in 5 minutes so we can go back to work.
Well, they didn't get quite as many people as they needed that day, and they probably could have used a little more help on most days. But thanks to the true dedication of all those involved and a few extra days of work, Kids Castle became a reality, and it'll be around for a long time to come. And as you can see, the finished project was well worth all the effort. That's it for this edition of Cover to Cover. Thanks for joining me.